Hey Simmers!
Hi everyone!
Welcome to Make 2 and the next episode of our Let's Play The Sims 4 focusing on the Eden-Cho family. It's actually the last episode of our first season of this series. We said in last week's episode that we kind of wanted to take a break now that we've reached an even number, episode number 30. And yeah, take a little break and then come back with hopefully a good season 2 of this family.
It's also, last week was prom for Bon and Jamie, the twins, and it's actually they're currently were seniors in high school, and it's about graduation time for them. So they've also graduated for the summer, which I think is another extra reason why it's kind of a good moment in their lives as well to kind of draw this season to a close.
Yep, and because they have graduated, their parents, Maya and Dylan, stepdad, have decided to throw them a graduation party at the art gallery. So we've got the art gallery sort of decorated and ready to go. We've got a DJ showing up here. Hopefully he will get the party started. We've also hired some other people, but they need to show up. Yeah. Sometimes that can take a while.
Yeah, mixologists are prone to be very delayed. Outside I see some members of Maya's art club making pictures that she can then sell for profit in the art gallery. Well, the DJ is really starting to get things moving.
Oh, Maya's painted a masterpiece.
Oh, cool. I am not surprised. Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so we kind of wanted to take this episode to talk about basically the series as a whole and all the things that the Sims have been through. It's been a crazy time for them. So those of you who've been watching the series from the beginning, you might remember that the series started with the death of Maya's first husband, Sam, Eden, and the dad of Jamie and Bon. It was really sad.
Yeah.
The reason that we started the series off with a death, though, was because, as we explained at the time, sometimes stories just have to happen with a major change in people's lives, and we figured losing their dad would be that kind of change to kick off, them going on new adventures and learning things about themselves in the face of such a tragic event.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely happened for all of the characters. I think for sort of a core family, for Maya, obviously, for Jamie and Bon, and also for Grandma Shelley. It's been a big roller coaster ride of emotions over this whole season.
Yeah.
And there's also been a lot of big changes in the makeup of the family as well. So, yeah,
for one thing, although we lost Sam Eden as a living Sim, we still had him as a ghost Sim.
Yeah.
So he showed up to
very
the house.
Quickly. Yeah.
The old house that they used to live in. And he was a frequent visitor, sometimes stirring up a little drama himself.
Yeah, drama emotions. I think at one point he kissed Maya. They shared a moment, which is really sweet. I think Bon originally kind of ignored him. I mean, she was just trying to cope with / ignore the death of her father. And then there was this ghost, and I just think she kind of blanked it out for a while. But he was there. It took him a while, I think, to adapt. But he was a really happy guy in life, and I think he's a happy ghost as a ghost as well, which I think it's been really nice seeing the family interact with him.
Yeah.
So they lost a father, gained a ghost, and also very quickly they gained a second grandma.
Yeah, so although there was a gap with Sam's departure / ghostliness, they somehow filled that gap with an interesting new character, Clone Shelley, who was just a randomly generated clone of the actual Grandma Shelley. And they decided to become good friends, Clone Shelley and Original Shelley, and then Original Shelley invited her to move in.
Yeah, I don't quite know what the whole family thought was going on with Clone Shelley, but yeah, they became friends. I mean, it was weird. She came into existence and walked right past the house, like very, very soon after we started playing. It was so strange. It definitely felt fated at the time. But Clone Shelley, yeah, she became a member of the household. She did things around the house. She tried to help out around the house. She was not super successful at helping out around the house.
She set the grill on fire, for one thing.
Yeah, and I, for one, was very suspicious about what was up with Clone Shelley. I thought she could well be an evil clone.
You and other people, I think you sort of influenced how people were gonna, take Clone Shelley's presence. But to be honest, they probably should have given her a proper background check before just inviting her into the house. But they're very generous people, the Edens, so
Ooh, I don't know. I also thought there was something a little strange going on, maybe a bit like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that everyone just accepted clone Shelley. They didn't think, why is there a clone of our grandma? So anyway, we had a clone in the house. That was pretty disruptive. But the kids really were not coping well, particularly Bon. The first thing they did was threw a massive party, a house party, because I think had Shelley maybe taken Maya out just to try and get her out of the house for a little bit from the mourning process. So the kids, of course, threw a house party, made a massive mess. There was like stuff on the lawn. There was mess throughout the house. Went on really late. Maya came back, was not happy with the kids. I think that was them just trying to sort of lash out and rebel because they didn't know what else to do. They just didn't know how to cope with what had happened in their lives.
I don't know if Jamie necessarily was trying to rebel. Jamie's always been just a good dude, but he's just very social. So he might have been thinking, well, we've been really sad around the house, but I think, It
was him just his way of saying, let's try and get back to normal.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
For Bon, I think it was a little bit different, a little bit deeper.
Bon did get into a rebellious stage, so she spent all night, out on the town.
And this was just, sorry to interrupt, this was just after the party and she was on curfew. What's it called? When you're not allowed to go outside as a teenager.
Oh, grounded.
She was utterly grounded, but went out all night.
Yeah, so there was a rough patch between her and her mother Maya at that time. But then Maya, I think, turned a new leaf at that point. She realized that she was the sole breadwinner for the family and that she needed to pursue her career. She had always been an artist and interested in art, obviously, but with the settlement of Sam's will and life insurance, let's say, she decided to buy an art gallery. So this is actually the art gallery that she bought, of course.
Yeah, it was a great spot in the centre of town. She actually hired her next door neighbour, Jasmine Neeson, to do the interior decorating for her. Jasmine and Tink are twins who lived opposite where Maya used to live. And I do think Jasmine did a really good job. It's got a really good modern warehousey vibe to the art gallery. And it's done incredibly well.
Yeah.
Like basically, Maya's become from being the sole breadwinner who used to be a stay-at-home mom to them having to look after a whole family to basically looking after them in style. Yeah. This is just like an incredibly successful business venture by Maya.
It basically makes money hand over foot.
Exactly, yeah.
So that has been successful. And also, I think it was successful in making Bon realize that she had some responsibilities, that she couldn't just, be a rebellious teenager, but she decided to start helping out around the art gallery, and she learned how to do repairs and stuff and basically took it upon herself to become, a good kid.
Yeah, she got really handy, and I think actually everyone did step up to help around the gallery as well. Shelley and Clone Shelley were various degrees of good at helping sell the paintings, which is key in the early stages anyways, for making money from the art gallery. Unfortunately, I do think at this time too, Maya was basically burning the candle at both ends.
Yes.
She was trying to look after some kids who were struggling still with the loss of their father. She was starting a new business for the first time in life, owning and running a business. And I think it took it out of her because at the same time, we were also playing with Dr. Dylan Cho, who was in the hospital, and completely randomly, in walks Maya, pretty sick.
Completely randomly.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's call it random.
You can't control who goes to the hospital.
No, true.
What we can control is what Dr. Dylan did with Maya when he saw her. So he was a handsome, up-and-coming, single doctor on his way to becoming chief surgeon.
Yes.
And when a ravishing single mom walked into his life, what did he do but try to sweep her off her feet? And
he, in fact, did sweep her off her feet.
Literally. Yeah, that was really cute. But it took a little bit of time before they actually went on a proper date. I mean, you can see Dylan is a charismatic guy.
Dylan's a charismatic guy. He's got lots of skills. He's basically good at everything.
Yeah. But still, eventually they did get on that date. And they actually hit it off really well. I think that was a really cute date. They did just spend a lot of it just talking to each other.
Yeah.
They just went to a cafe and just sat down and just talked and opened up their hearts to each other, which I thought was just really, really sweet. And it did go really well. And I imagine that must have been hard for both of them, but I think particularly hard for Maya. Because I'm sure Sam did get disgusted, and I think her just sort of moving on with that stage of life was probably very bittersweet.
So they had a great first date. They had a less great big weekend away.
Yeah.
They went to a bed and breakfast in town, and they thought that they were going to make it a super special weekend, you know, their first time staying away from the family and like being on their own and, you know, having some privacy. But the bed and breakfast owners were kind of crazy. Like they set the grill on fire and they barged in on Maya and Dylan's first time.
Yeah, it was not. Oh, it was not a private moment.
No.
So I think it would be a great story for them to tell to their friends and family. Well, in years to come, or to each other. But I don't think it was an amazingly perfect romantic getaway that I think they'd both been hoping for.
But still, their romance was strong, their relationship was strong, and Dylan decided after some time that it was time to pop the question, the big question.
Yeah.
Will you marry me? So that also was a little bit rocky, because maybe Maya was thinking, is this really what, you know, I want to do? Like, bring another man into my kids' lives to be their stepfather?
I mean, the kids had got to know him a little bit, and I think she'd asked the kids about what they thought of Dylan, and they were basically both positive. So I think that was, you know, really grown up of both of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. All right. But then eventually he did pop the question, and she said yes. And it was really sweet.
Yeah.
And then they got married.
Yep, there's a custom wedding venue in our town where they got married, and I think that was also just a really, probably the pinnacle happy moment in the season so far to that point, because everyone was there. Shelley made a cake. Jamie and Bon looked lovely, behaved really well, I think on the most part. They were suddenly really happy for their mum. Maya looked beautiful. Dylan did really well. I just think it was a really happy moment.
Yes, it was a lovely wedding. And then Maya and Dylan went on a honeymoon. This time, we realized that they should just rent an entire house to themselves rather than stay at a bed and breakfast. So they did that.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was lovely. Dylan showed off his cooking skills.
Yeah, he is a gourmet chef, and he made lobster thermidor for his wife, for his blushing bride. And there was just a super cute moment where they were both sitting on the couch, just like eating the lobster thermidor, and she was just like, this is super tasty. And they just both had this like really satisfied smile on their faces. And I was like, yeah, they really should be together. I think it's that sharing of those quiet, peaceful, happy moments that really cement a marriage. And I just thought it was really cute.
Yeah. So they weren't the only ones getting romantic. Bon also was getting romantic with her friend Matt.
Yeah.
So Bon all along had been a loner, sort of geeky girl, a girl who preferred to just spend time studying and repairing things and, you know, that kind of stuff.
I mean, look, yeah.
Like there's a party downstairs and here she is upstairs on her own.
On her own. Yeah, she does not like groups of people.
No.
But she did try. She like made real efforts to put herself out there. Mm-hmm. She like said, hey, let's go on a study day. And she went round to hang out with several boys who she was friends with just to see what might happen. So she tried a bunch of times. It didn't work out a bunch of times. But then it did with Matt.
Yes. I think the key to that is that they were friends first. They had a lot in common. They just seemed to get along really well whenever they hung out. And then finally it turned romantic. They had their first date together and it was super cute.
Yeah, it was. And I think, they've been super cute since then. They've gone fishing together. And I think Matt knows, like, often she just needs time to be quiet. That's how she likes stuff. So he can just be there with her.
Yes.
Peacefully.
That's the key when you have a partner who knows you really well and, you know, knows what you need and anticipates what you need and gives you what you need, basically. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's been really lovely. And in the meantime, the family moved into a brand new, huge house.
Yeah.
Like, just gorgeous, modern style, very different from their old house. And in this new house, they had room for another addition to the family.
Yeah. It didn't take long before Maya got pregnant, and then shortly after that, she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, Olivia.
Yes, this is Dylan's first child, Maya's third child, the baby of the family.
Yeah.
Tons of older family members living in the same house, so you can expect that she got really well loved, spoiled, taken care of.
Yeah, they're basically, I think the problem was she was so cute and small and everyone loved her so much that they wouldn't let her sleep because they just wanted to cuddle with her all the time.
Yes.
And her sister went on a really, really sweet hunt to find like all the Easter eggs, wasn't it? So that she could get a special prize for her new baby sister, and bought her Flopsy, the wonderful yellow bunny rabbit that she has to this day.
Mm-hmm. Then Olivia had a birthday. So even though Olivia's life you would think would be super perfect because of everybody in the family, wanting to make sure that she's super happy all the time, she had a birthday party where a few things went wrong. Her dollhouse just kept getting mysteriously broken. We don't know who was doing it, but somebody was.
Yeah.
But what that led to was a series of events where Clone Shelley accused Jasmine Neeson of being the one to break the dollhouse, and then Jasmine retaliated, and Clone Shelley has mysteriously now disappeared following that series of events.
Yeah, basically the family didn't see her. Like, basically the day following the party, Olivia's birthday party, she's just been out of their lives.
Yeah.
They've wondered a little bit about it. They haven't yet managed to resolve it, though I think they are trying to find out where she is, and we hope that gets resolved soon.
Just a hint to check our Neeson twins Let's Play for more about that situation. But anyway, other than that, things have been really going well. We had a bit of senioritis for the twins when they were kind of coming to the end of their senior year and realizing that they were ready to be done with school. So Jamie threw a huge party at the ruins in Windenburg, and that was super fun.
Yep, everyone went swimming. Jamie took his guitar. This was, I think, him trying also to, play a little bit romantic with the ladies. Mm-hmm. He tried to play guitar. He tried to do some dives. But there again, he has a number of good female friends. He didn't get anywhere. There was no romantic stuff happening for Jamie that night. But still, it was a really fun party. And, props to Bon. She was actually doing pretty well hanging out with everybody.
I think that party probably cemented Jamie's resolution to maybe settle down for the first time. He'd always been not a player exactly, but just a regular teenage boy who wasn't quite ready to commit to any one particular girlfriend.
That's like a happy-go-lucky sort.
Yeah. But then he decided to give Abigail a closer look.
Yeah.
Abigail is one of his classmates in high school, and then they went on a first date as well.
Yeah, I think they actually first, just before that date, he invited her to hang out when he was taking Olivia to the playground. I think that was very smart of Jamie.
Yes, because a lot of girls think it's super cute when a boy, takes care of his little sister.
And Olivia's really cute.
She is.
Yeah, she's going to put you in a good mood really easily. So they went on a date, which also went really well. And I think if you can manage to get on a date, the dates generally go well in Simstown. Not always. Sometimes they do fail. But certainly for our lovely Eden-Cho family, they've gone well. So now Jamie and Abigail are a definite item.
Just in time for prom, which again we had in last week's episode.
Yeah, and that was, putting a whole bunch of teenagers in a massive stately home kind of thing with a hedge maze and a museum and at least 2 different dance floors is a recipe for chaos, but everyone seemed to have a really good time.
Yes. And that brings us to tonight, their graduation party.
Yeah. This is the celebration of the end of their year, or end of high school for Jamie and Bon. Another little celebration of, everyone loving Olivia. And just, I think, a lovely celebration for everything that's happened to the whole Eden-Cho family over this whole season.
Yeah, they started pretty sad, but have come to a place where they've got more family members added, which I think can only be a good thing.
Yeah.
They're in a brilliant, beautiful new house. And the next chapter is ahead. Something super exciting, and we hope you guys will like it as well.
Yep, so please do stay tuned for more Sims 4 videos. As we said before, the Neeson Let's Play is continuing for a little bit. There'll be a little bit of a break for the Let's Play, and then we'll be back strong with Season 2 of the Eden-Chos.
Please let us know, guys, in the comments what you think of this retrospective clip show episode, and also what you thought of the Eden-Cho family series as a whole.
Yeah, I'd love to know, for instance, what you thought was the highlight and low point for the Eden-Chos of the season. Just be really good to share your thoughts of what's been your favourite moment for the family.
So if you are new to our channel, feel free to subscribe, because as we said, we've got plenty more Sims 4, as well as plenty more Eden-Cho family on the way.
Thanks for watching.